हरि जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शतशी श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस AC भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय इस्कॉन बीबीडी फाउंडाचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय इस्कॉन गुरु वृंद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय निताय गो प्रेमानंदे हरि ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते तमाकृष्णगोस्वामिति नमिने नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिति नमिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे Hare Krishna, so we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, the prayers of Queen Kunti, text number 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's 1837. Google. Apyadyanastvam svakrite hita prabhu. Apyadyanastvam svakrite hita prabhu. Jihasasi swit surido nujivina. Jihasasi swit surido nujivina. Yesham na chanyad bhavata padambhuja. Yesham na chanyad bhavata padambhuja. Parayanam rajashu yojitam hasham. Parayanam rajashu yojitam hasham. Apyadyanastvam svakrite hita prabhu. Jihasasi sveshurido nujivina. Yesham na chanyad bhavata padambhuja. Parayanam rajasu yojitam hasham. Apyadyanastvam svakrite hita prabhu. Jihasasi swit surida anujivina. Yesham na chanyad bhavata padambhuja. Parayanam rajasu yojitam hasham. Apyadyanastvam svakrite hita prabhu. Jihasasi swet surido nujivina. Yesham na chanyad bhavata padambhuja. Parayanam rajasu yojitam hasham. Apyadyanastvam svakrite hita prabhu. Jihasasi swet surido nujivina. Yesham na chanyad bhavata padambhuja. Parayanam rajasu yojitam hasham. Api, if, adya, today, na, us, tvam, you, svakrita, self-executed, ihita, all duties, Prabhu, O my Lord, jihashashi, giving up, sweet, possibly, surida, intimate friends, anujivina, living at the mercy of, yesham, of whom, na, nor, cha, and, anyat, anyone else, bhavataha, your, pada ambhujat, from the lotus feet, Parayanam, dependent, Rajashu, unto the kings, Yojita, engaged in, Amhasam, enmity, Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today? Though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us. Now, when all kings are at enmity with us. So, Maharani Kunti is praying to Krishna that today, actually you have executed all your duties. What was Krishna's duty? Vinasha paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bha. So dharma samstapa, Krishna has spoken the Bhagavad Gita, so religion is established, he's protected the devotees, the Pandavas, and he has killed the enemies. So Krishna, he's saying, Maharani Kunti is saying, you have executed all your duties. So then he's saying, are you leaving us today? Though we are completely dependent on your mercy. We are completely dependent on your mercy. That reminds me when Prabhupada was leaving his body in Vrindavan. So all the devotees said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you are the only pure devotee we have. Krishna has so many in the spiritual world. So you should stay, you should not leave. So Prabhupada said, everything happens by the will of Krishna. So he said, if you want, everything will happen by Krishna's will, therefore you can go and pray to Krishna Balaram. And the way to pray is, oh my Lord, if you so desire, then leave Prabhupada with us. Still, Krishna is the controller, Krishna is the boss. So you have to go and ask the boss that if you want, then you submit your prayer, leave Prabhupada with us. So that is the mood of praying. Even when Bhagavatam says, in the later chapters we'll come and read, Akama sarva kamava moksha kam udaradi. So whatever material desires you have, your moksha desire, or pure devotional service. So even sometimes when you are praying to Krishna for some material progress, then you should pray to Krishna, Krishna, if you so desire, please give me some Lakshmi so that I can do big distribution. Give me this so that I can preach Krishna consciousness. And then Krishna knows what is in your co-heart. Krishna knows you will get the money and then you will disappear, then you will not give. Krishna knows that, if I give the money, he is genuine, then Krishna will give. So he says, she says, you are leaving us because we are dependent on your mercy. So another point is you must always be dependent on Krishna. 6 points of surrender, one of the point is to be always dependent on Krishna. And though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us. So Krishna should always be dependent on Krishna, accept everything favorable, reject everything unfavorable. You must know Krishna is the maintainer, you must know Krishna is the protector, you must depend on Krishna's mercy and be meek and humble. So this is exactly Kunti Mata के जो पूरा complete surrender के भाव है ये प्रार्थना में दिखाई देता है. And now all kings are at enmity with us. Now they are the rulers, so then others who have defeated, they are in. The Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck, they were entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada ji first बात बोले कि बहुत fortune है. Even to remain in Krishna consciousness is a great fortune. And for those who are fully dependent on Krishna, that's also a great fortune. The other day, we went with Visvanath Das Prabhu to see one place. While we were coming Master with Jaram Prabhu, we were discussing that, in somehow the other, Visvanath Prabhu is running around for Krishna's work. So, I get reminded when I read this first line by Prabhupada. We are actually very fortunate to be dependent on Krishna, because depending on Krishna is very difficult. There are so many material pressures that will come on us that will give us, that will sort of, even the slightest, it can feed the ego that we can start thinking that actually I am the doer and Krishna is, we all know Krishna is Supreme Person, He is the doer, but it's very easily, it comes, that even the Guru can think, these are my disciples, therefore my control. Or a very common one is, you become temple authority, then you start thinking, I am the boss now. Krishna Prabhupada is saying it's a great fortune. ये भाग्य है कि कभी कभी मैं सोचता हूँ some things happen, I might make a mistake, then probably immediately after, or maybe 5 minutes later, or 10 years later, or 1 day later, then Krishna gives you the intelligence to understand where your mistake was, or what should be the correct thing. Actually, I become very grateful. It's I'm not proud of myself, but I'm saying, I think Krishna still cares for me, so he gave me the right understanding. Otherwise, I could just keep on going on my wrong understanding, and then slip away from Krishna consciousness. So it is actually a great fortune. So the Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck they were entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. In the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the utmost sign of misfortune. But in the case of our transcendental relation with the Lord, it is the most fortunate case when we can live completely dependent on Him. बहुत भारी great है ना कि somebody is completely dependent on Krishna. Even sometimes I see, this is also in a very subtle way. Sometimes we say, no, Krishna has given us intelligence, we should do like this, we should do like this. Actually, when you start doing that, sometimes we think we are smarter than the Guru, that's great misfortune. Great misfortune. We sometimes think, Guru must have made a wrong decision. Guru was giving me a wrong guidance. So it's great misfortune. The material disease is due to thinking of becoming independent of everything. What is the material disease? The material disease is that we want to be independent. We want to do something separate. But the cruel material nature does not allow us to become independent. The false attempt to become independent of the stringent laws of nature is known as material advancement of experimental knowledge. Material advancement क्या है? वो experiment करते हैं. We experiment something, it works for some time, then the material nature shows us, proves to us that it doesn't work. So हम लोग सोचते हैं, we discovered the antibiotic amoxicillin, then everyone is abusing it, then it's become resistant. Then we become resistant. So material nature has proven that whatever you have discovered, it won't work. We become very healthy, then Krishna gives us some disease. So it's experimental knowledge. We only experimenting things. That we do this, it will become like this. Like any government comes in power, they start experimenting. This is the policy. We say this is the policy because this is experimental. Then we say, this policy doesn't work. That means the experiment failed. So this is what the material nature. The whole material world is moving on this false attempt of becoming independent. अमुक सबको मिलता है कि अपन गोड़ पे खड़ा हो जाओ. That means you want to become independent. The governments, they become aid से. जैसे भी Trump सबके aid card this. US aid card दे सबके. So he said, we become. It won't work because everything is dependent on Krishna. हम सोचेगा कि we can become independent. This is the disease of the material world. This is false attempt हम लोग के. Beginning from Ravana, who wanted to prepare a direct staircase to the planets of heaven, down to the present age, they are trying to overcome the laws of nature. They are trying now to approach distant planetary systems by electronic mechanical power. But the highest goal of human civilization is to work harder under the guidance of the Lord and become completely dependent on Him. This is the whole purpose of material creation, to rehabilitate. Rehabilitate means to correct. What has gone incorrect? Our desire to be separate, our desire to be independent of Krishna, to desire separately from Krishna. So that is the goal of human civilization. Prabhuji, सुंदर से लिखी से प्रभुजी. But the highest goal of human civilization, ठीक है? Highest goal है human civilization की कौन सी? To work under the guidance of the Lord. लेकिन खाली spiritual life में खाली walk करे से काम नहीं चली. You have to work hard. Why do you need to work hard? Because there will be so much material pulls and pushes. No? The urges of the senses will push us into one direction. Then even if you are, if some are making spiritual advancement, then there will be so many pull forces. Somebody will try to pull you down. So pull and push forces will apply. So therefore you have to work hard. It's like you can say it's a tug of war. It's like in school we have two teams pulling the rope. So whoever is powerful, that's the side you go. So it's spiritual life. Mahavishnu Maharaj said, we are doing spiritual life and we are also trying to do our material life for existence. Existence is a struggle. Prabhupada says very nicely, we have to struggle for existence. And then at the same time, we are trying to reawaken the love of Krishna. So it's a tug of war. Sometimes, people will just have a mental war. Thinking, oh, this person is becoming so rich, he's a millionaire, has so much comfort, something. I'm a devotee, I'm so taken a vow of poverty, I'm simple living, this, that. Then there's a mental war. You might not show it out externally, but the mental state does affect. How does the mental... I was just doing Radha Gopinath now and this thought came to me. That sometimes this battle is happening within the mind and then you are serving Krishna, but you are having all these material thoughts come. That I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Then the thought starts coming. Whilst I'm serving Krishna, while I'm doing this, just like Prabhupada said, when you touch the deities, it's just like touching fire. So what is the result of fire? The material desires will win away. Nectar Doshan Prabhupada said every grihastha should worship the deities because by worshipping the deities, what happens is you have to maintain a level of standard of cleanness. And what is cleanness? Of course, you shower and keep yourself clean. Your mind must be clean. Your thoughts must be clean. Like that. So Prabhupada said, everyone who is worshipping the deities should read Krishna book. So that your meditation of Krishna develops. When you are, say for example, you are dressing the deities, then you are thinking of a Krishna is going to, with the cowhead boys, so then these processes are happening. You are actually, what you have done, you have actually entered the pastimes of Krishna. It's like when you say Krishna is going to the forest of Vrindavan with the cowhead boys, the cows are running in front, the boys are running at the back. So when you meditate on you think of these things, that means you have entered the pastime of Krishna. So, the point is that we are we have to work hard under the guidance of the Lord. So you have to make effort. This is very basic principle. I was thinking that waking up in the morning is a difficult task. It is a difficult task. It's not easy. But we have to make an effort. If you had a 5 a.m. flight at the airport, what will you do? If some people go from Suva, they catch a cab to go. They wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and to be at the airport at 5 for check-in. So, when you see the need, if you don't do that, you don't wake up at 2 and catch a cab to go to the airport, you'll miss your flight. So what is critical? What is important? Catching the flight. So similarly, the whole purpose of the scriptures is, the whole purpose of association is, the whole purpose of the process of Krishna consciousness is to teach us, to make us realize the urgency of Krishna consciousness. If you feel the urgency of Krishna consciousness, then you are prepared to. We don't wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning every day. But when it's time to catch a flight, then that day you have to. You may have to sleep late, wake up early. But that's not an everyday thing. But once you have understood that if you are not on time, you will miss the flight, then you make an effort. So when you understand the urgency of Krishna consciousness is so urgent, if you don't do it, you will be Maya, Jhapadi Adre. You will be entangled into the Maya. What is Maya? Maya is not something that, some lady is a Maya, some man is a Maya, they'll come and hug you and then you are gone. Not like that. Maya is simply that which is not. What is not? We are dependent on Krishna. If you are not thinking, you are thinking independent of Krishna, you are in Maya. Simple as that. And Maya is, it's not a bad thing. Maya is just like a exam every day. It's a test every day. So you need to pass the test every day. So Prabhupada says you have to work hard You have to work hard. And how do you work hard? Not whimsically. Ya Shastra Vede Musraja. Not whimsically. Under the guidance of the Lord. Whatever Krishna has given through the scriptures. So, the scriptures are word of Krishna, and the sadhu, guru are the practicality. It's like, we're going to have a deity worship seminar, so we'll do theory, and then when you go on the altar, then it's practical. So scriptures are like theoretical guidance. And when you are in the association of devotees, Krishna consciousness doing thing, that's like doing practical in the lab. So the temple is a lab. Sometimes the experiments will fail. That's okay. You chant your 16 on, your mind keeps running away. You do your service, it may not be fully attentive. Sometimes you're cooking for Krishna. You want to cook with Krishna for love, with love, but sometimes your subject gets bent. That means that you didn't pay attention. But it's okay. That's a lab. Then you re-experiment. You keep doing it. The whole idea is we are not perfect. And this place is practicing to give us perfection. We want to become perfect here. So we must work hard under the guidance of the Lord and become completely dependent on Him. So gradually we have to come to the stage of complete dependence. This is allowed. Why? Because Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante. So Krishna has allowed it. As we surrender, Krishna will reward us accordingly. So that means progress is allowed. We don't have to be perfect on day one. You can make little by little progress. The highest achievement of perfect civilization is to walk with valor, but at the same time depend completely on the Lord. So highest perfection is पूरे ताकत के साथ में. अर्जुन slack नहीं fight करता रहा. He has to be. Arjun could fight. He could shoot so many arrows. I think there's a story in the Mahabharata. No? One time, one dog barked before he closed his mouth. All the arrows Arjuna put in his mouth. So fast. Dilla nahi chalega. You have to be. Prabhupada will put with all valor, ekdam. It's a effort. But at the same time, depend completely on the Lord. पूरे ताकत से काम करना, लेकिन भगवान के ऊपर निर्भर रहना. Because कभी-कभी ऐसे कि हम लोग अपन ताकत से काम करते हैं, तो हम सोचता है कि I am the one doing it. ये मेरे ताकत से होता है. या कभी-कभी हम लोग सोचते हैं कि ये मेरे intelligence. Somebody is intelligent to organize things, then the person organizer starts thinking, it's my intelligence. That intelligence is coming from Krishna. Tadami buddhi yogam jam. So that's when you are dependent on Krishna, then you are thinking, okay, Krishna is. Sometimes you feel the guidance of Krishna's heart. So that's how you do. And then you can always validate your. Mahajivat Prabhu made this point, validate. So then you validate it. How do you validate it? With Guru, with Sadhu, and with Shastras. तो कभी-कभी माइंड हम लोग कहीं होता है, हम कैसे लगे कि ये परमात्मा बोले, लेकिन mental speculation से क्या हो जाए. The Pandavas were ideal executors of this standard of civilization. Undoubtedly, they were completely dependent on the good will of Lord Shri Krishna, but they were not idle parasites of the Lord. Prabhupada बहुत strong words लिखे. Prabhupada बोले ये लोग parasites नहीं रहा. Parasites कौन सी है? जैसे हम लोग स्कूल जैसे एक person है, लेकिन उसके ऊपर बैक्टीरिया आ जाए ना, तो they are feeding off you. So you should not be parasite. जैसे प्रभुपाद जी, no offense to anyone, I'm not indicating to anyone, but प्रभुपाद की statement हमें याद आएगी ना, कि प्रभुपाद बोले जैसे बोले they were not parasites, तो प्रभुपाद जी बोले the temple is not the place for eating and sleeping. The temple is the place for serving. मुझे इस पर एक और याद आता है, लोग जानते हैं, everyone's been to India or some of you, तो दिल्ली में temple है ना, तो प्रभुपाद जी के disciple गोपाल कृष्ण महाराज, he inspired a total of about 18 to 20 temples just in Delhi. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj was the trustee for BBT in India. When Maharaj passed away, then Radhanath Swami Maharaj was saying that Gopal Krishna Maharaj was the biggest book distributor. He was the biggest book distributor. And one time we were visiting the temple, one Maharaj disciple was saying that all the brahmacharis living in the ashram, So they have a good morning program, then have nice prasadam. Then 10 o'clock, everyone is supposed to go for book distribution. Then Gopal Krishna Maharaj would go to the ashram and knock on every door that no brahmachari is in the room. So sometimes what the brahmacharis would do, they'd run away to the washroom and hide there. Then Maharaj used to go and check the washrooms if they are not hiding there. So Prabhupada was like, we cannot be parasites. When you are, at least once you have become surrendered, how do you know you have become surrendered? You are trying to become surrendered. You have accepted the shelter of spiritual master. At least when you become initiated devotee, you must start serving Krishna. And as you progress, you become second initiated, vanaprastha or sannyasi or whatever. Sannyasi means complete surrender. You're completely going to work for Krishna and no one else. So we should not become, that's why we should always encourage others to do some service, just like, who was that American president who said, I think Reagan, right? President Reagan. He said, ask not what America can do for you, ask what you can do for America. So we should always ask, what Guru can. Don't ask, what Guru can do for you, what ISKCON can do for you. Ask, what you can do for ISKCON. What you can do for you. Because ISKCON as an organization or as a ISKCON as an entity only is you, is all of us. If we are not here, there is no ISKCON. Even if we had a registration with the titles office and there were no devotees, would anyone say there is ISKCON in Fiji? It's the devotees who make the society. So we should all serve. They were all highly qualified both by personal character and by physical activities. So again, very good point. We should also try and develop a very good character. They were very high in character. Because the first interaction that comes with the people of the material world is they look at you. They say, they don't understand the depth of your Krishna consciousness. But they will understand. Last week, Friday, we had a program in Navwa. So one person asked, if someone is a Krishna conscious person, what are his actions? Then I said, that's a very nice question. In the midst of the battlefield, 40 minutes time है कल कृष्णा के लड़ाई शुरू हो इस पहले कृष्णा उसके बीच में बताया है कि एक कृष्णा कॉन्शियस पर्सन कैसे उठे कैसे बैठे कैसे अर्जुन ही क्वेश्चन पूछे अरे भैया युद्ध हो रहा है कौन कैसे चले ये कौन सी व्हाट्स द इम्पोर्टेंस व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंस हम क्या लड़ाई वाला के अगर तो हम लोग थोड़ा बजे प्रभु तुम कैसे चल के आ रहा कैसे बोला रिस्पेक्टफुली बोला दंडवत करके बोला but in the midst of the battlefield Arjun is asking this important question. It's an important question. और अगर important नहीं रहता कृष्ण बोलता अर्जुन don't ask a stupid question, we are about to have a battle. But Krishna describes कि कृष्ण conscious person कैसे behave करे, कैसे चले, कैसे सोचे, कैसे तो कृष्णा बोले कृष्णा फर्स्ट जवाब देवे अर्जुन के बोले सबसे फर्स्ट कैरेक्टर ऑफ a devotee, a Krishna conscious person is how they speak. How they speak. Krishna Maharaj is very expert at this. Maharaj Chanakya की नीति है ना सत्यम प्रियम हितम. Because सत्यम प्रियम हितम जब अप्लाई करेगा you'll always be compassionate speaking. Harsh speaking कौन जी रहे? Harsh means very nice. तो यहाँ पे बोले कि प्रभुपाद बोले देव उनके पर्सनल कैरेक्टर और फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज. अगर हम देगा कभी कभी अरे डिवोटी के हम देखा कंटीमाला पेरी से नोंगना पीता विलेज 6 में बैठा रहा है डिवोटी वहाँ क्लब में रहा तो फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज मैटर करे तो Pandavas they were qualified both ways. So you have to be qualified devotee means qualified in character, qualified in activity as well. So still they always looked for the mercy of the Lord because they knew that every living being is dependent by constitutional position. So इतना सब कुछ perfect होते हुए भी फिर भी they are always dependent on Krishna's mercy. Always praying. Prabhupada always prayed. Prabhupada always, not high, pure devotee, advanced devotee, Prabhupada, but he always, Prabhupada said to his disciples, that you are all sent by my Guru Maharaj. It shows he is dependent on the mercy of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Prabhupada said, all you boys and girls are sent by Krishna. Prabhupada said, all of you going to distribute books, Lord Chaitanya will person. Prabhupada said, the other day I shared that quote of Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, those who can distribute books until, even while dying, Lord Chaitanya will come and take you by your hand. So this is a tough one, right? So you should only pray to Radha Golok Bihari, Bhagavan, please, let me die while I'm distributing. That's the trick. You may be distributing Bhagavad Gita in front of MICC and you have a heart attack, you fall down. Hey, Lord Chaitanya will come and take you. The perfection of life is therefore to become dependent on the will of the Lord instead of becoming falsely independent in the material world. Those who try to become falsely independent of the Lord are called anath. We think anath means people who don't have parents. People who don't have Krishna's instruction, Krishna's guidance, the guidance of the Parampita in our life, then you are anath. Prabhupada said then, or without guardian, any guardian. Whereas those who are completely dependent on the will of the Lord are called sanath, or those having someone to protect them. Therefore, we must try to be sanath, so that we can always be protected from the unfavorable condition of material existence. Unfavorable condition hai, everything is temporary, everything is going to be full of misery, no matter what you try, this world is full of miseries. By the deluding power of the external material nature, we forget the material condition of life is the most undesirable perplexity. बोले भगवान के एक्सटर्नल जी माया के डिल्यूडिंग भ्रम करेला पावा से हम लोग भुला जाता है कि मटेरियल एग्जिस्टेंस बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. हम लोग कॉम्प्लिकेशन में ट्राई करता है. ये कौन सी बोले, क्या बोले इसके, इट्स लाइक अ कॉब वेब, एक मकरा के जाला है, उसमें कोई और इंसेक्ट जाए वो बच जाए, खाली मकरा के लगे 8 है उसके ऊपर चल रहे. तो मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में जो प्योर डिवोटी है वही के लगे 8 है, हाउ टू वॉक ओवर दिस. तब से प्रभुपाद व्हेन ही कम्स, व्हेन कृष्णा हिमसेल्फ कम्स, दे डोंट गेट एंटेंगल्ड हियर. बट हम लोग के जैसे लोग, हम लोग खलास, हम लोग खलास हो जाता. तो बोले कि हाँ, परप्लेक्सिटी बहुत कन्फ्यूजिंग है, हम लोग कन्फ्यूज हो जाएगा. बहुत कन्फ्यूजिंग सिचुएशन है यहाँ पे. हमको कभी कभी समझ नहीं पाता कि होए कौन सी. कभी कभी हमें लगे कि यहाँ राइट होए, कभी कभी रॉन्ग होए, कभी कुछ पता नहीं लगे. इट्स वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटिंग. द भगवद गीता therefore directs us 7:19 that after many births one fortunate person comes aware of the fact that Vasudev is all in all, and that the best way of leading one's life is to surrender unto him completely. एक्चुअली जितना डिवोटीज लोग बहुत बहुत लाइफ साइकिल खलास करके और समझ गए कि कृष्ण सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉड है. बट संगे संगे भगवान के डिल्यूडिंग, माया के डिल्यूडिंग पावर ओवर नहीं हुए. कभी कभी हम लोग समझते हुए भी हम लोग सरेंडर हो गया है कृष्ण से. वाई डिड वी टेक इनिशिएशन? बिकॉज वी नो कृष्ण इज द सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉड. बट हम लोग फिर से जहाँ एसोसिएशन, जहाँ रीडिंग, जहाँ सेवा, जो 5 प्रिंसिपल आइटम्स चैतन्य महाप्रभु बताई से, अगर हम लोग उसके बाउंड्री में नहीं रहेगा, उसके फेंस में नहीं रहेगा, इवन आफ्टर नोइंग दैट वासुदेव इज द सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉड, समबडी कैन डिल्यूटिंग पावर फिर भी अप्लाई करी. हम लोग के बीमार कर दिए, हम लोग के कुछ हो ही जाए ऐसे, हम लोग फिर भागे लगे, कहीं हो जाओ जाके लगे, जा रहा है फुका लगे. वो भुला गया कि कृष्ण इज द सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉड है. Somebody was telling me, some people, go to the firework and all these things. This is not nice. Actually, it's very sad for Krishna. It's a sad day for Krishna. Krishna becomes very sad. मुझे इस पे एक स्टोरी याद आता है. To explain the concept of surrender. There was one devotee, a Vaishnava devotee. He was going through the forest and a lion chased him. Lion chased him and he started running to save his life. So whilst he was running in the middle of the forest, he saw a Shiva temple. So immediately thought, if I ran and went into the temple and closed the doors, I'll be safe. And I can only save Krishna if I'm alive. If I'm dead, how can I serve Krishna? So he ran towards the temple to save himself. Just as he put his first step on the first step of Lord Shiva's temple, immediately he thought, the thought came to his mind, that if today I enter the temple and save myself, my mind will say that Lord Shiva has protected me. And I will become 1 millimeter away from Krishna's protection. The story is not meant to offend Lord Shiva. We are not saying, because Bhagavatam says Lord Shiva is the greatest of the devotees. But here the point that is being illustrated is of complete surrender. That's the point. Otherwise, later on Bhagavatam saying Lord Shiva is a great devotee, we should pray to Lord Shiva for blessings of Krishna Bhakti, that is, these days, social media is very dangerous, somebody will start saying, we are criticizing Lord Shiva. No, that's not the point. I'm trying to drive a point at what complete surrender is. What complete surrender is. So here Prabhupada says, that this complete surrender comes after many, many lifetimes. That is the sign of Mahatma. All the members of the Pandava family were Mahatmas in household life. They were grihasthas, they had family life, they were kings, they were administrators. They were not sannyasis, staying in the temple or renounce everything, staying in the forest. They were householders, but they were Mahatma. So what makes one a Mahatma? Complete surrender to Krishna. Complete surrender means you are a Mahatma. So Maharaj Yudhishthira was the head of these Mahatmas, and Queen Kunti was the mother of the Mahatmas. The lessons of Bhagavad Gita and all the Pandavas, specifically the Bhagavad Puran, are therefore inevitably connected with the history of the Pandava Mahatmas. So when we are talking about Krishna, then inevitably avoid nahi sako kare. Because they are Mahatma devotees, so उन की history आ जाए. So don't be devotee rahi. Jai Prabhupada, the great devotee. So when you are talking about Krishna, you cannot avoid Prabhupada because he is a Mahatma. So whoever has rendered great service or are rendering great service or in connection to Krishna, they all become part of the. Today we are reading the history of. Maybe in the next kalpa, we'll be reading, it will say, Jai Chaitanya was doing this, Rai Ram was doing this, Jara Prabhu did this, Javana Prabhu did this. You become part of Krishna's pastime. This is all part of Krishna's Leela. What is Krishna's Leela? To save the conditioned soul. So anyone acting in this, whether it be temple worship, whether it be book distribution, whether it be Harinam, whether it be a home program, whatever little way. Not everyone is going to be a Hanuman Bhakta. Not everyone will be like a Hanuman devotee. There will be some people who are like the spider devotees. But what is the recognition of Ram? Is Hanuman greater than the spider who was throwing sands in the bridge to Lanka? Ram said, you are equal. The spider is a weak insect. That's the very powerful act to do, just to kick a grain of sand into. But Hanuman was a huge honor, so he could lift the mountain. So everyone is equal. Somebody is making so many devotees, somebody is making one devotee. What is Bhakti Siddhanta? Just make one devotee in a lifetime, you're going to go back home, back to God. So everyone's service is recognized by Krishna. For them, separation from the Lord was just like separation of a fish from the water. So Pandavas, their separation from Krishna was like you take the fish out of the water. Srimati Kunti Devi therefore felt such separation like a thunderbolt. Just one more line. After the battle of thunderbolt and the whole prayer of Queen Kunti tried to persuade the Lord to stay with them. After the battle of Kurukshetra, although the inimical kings were killed, their sons, grandsons were still there to deal with the Pandavas. It is not only the Pandavas who were put into condition of enmity, but all of us are always in such condition. And the best way of living is to become completely dependent on the will of the Lord and thereby overcome all difficulties of material existence. So as soon as you become dependent on Krishna, you will come over all material obstacles. जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गो प्रेमानंदे हरि।
Shanti